it is about talking about Liverpool. Transfer window 1, still a few days left. Transfer window 2 will then start 6 days afterwards. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, isn't it? Tuesday, June the 10th, window 1, 7 p.m. So you're not going to get Harry Redknapp reading out late at night, I'm afraid, or a fax machine going off, or the purple dildo at Stoke. Not happening this year. Then it shuts for the weirdest thing. 6 days, and then it reopens. So transfer window 1, transfer window 2. Which then means we know what we're hoping. And even in the last sort of few hours today, feels like the saga's gone on forever, hasn't it, really? But Florian Wirtz, it seems to be pretty universal. The Liverpool's the third bid was rejected. A lot seemed to be expected, a fourth to get done. Florian Plettenberg, to quote him there on Sky Sports News, I expect, he said, the medical to take place in the next days, as we expect a total agreement between Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen in the next 1, 2 or 3 days. There's been a fresh offer, and the package is now almost around 150 million euros. And a few people have quoted Plettenberg. They've quoted Axel Hesser, I think it's pronounced. I might be getting that wrong. At Bild, as Axel Hesser, if I'm pronouncing that right, as the most reliable and the one that sort of seems to have the freshest news, isn't it, on that? And there does seem that expectation, although there's always seems this freaking expectation that this will get done. And people will look to our journalists and say what's happening. The last one we had was about 5-6 hours ago from Paul Joyce saying, still negotiating, because they turned down the offer for 113 million quid. However, as Paul Joyce also says in this article specifically, still negotiating, still expected it to happen. So touch wood, this place would have a meltdown, the whole social media networks, never mind Elon Musk, Donald Trump wars. Can you imagine what's going to happen if Wirtz doesn't get done? Forget America, Liverpool social media will go off its tits for the next week if this doesn't get done. So touch wood, this does get sorted. And there's also the expectation for transfer window 1, as I'm calling it, that we get some Milos Kirkez news as well, don't we? And the reason I'm saying that is we got yesterday that Milos Kirkez had pulled out the Hungarian camp, their internationals, for quote-unquote private reasons. I think we know what they are. It is also important, though, to say, if we don't get these done by 7 p.m. on Tuesday, the 10th of June, the world does not explode, people. Nothing sort of detonates. As long as we have these players in our camp, by the time, I think, and again, someone correct me if I'm wrong on this in the chat panel, the 1st of July, they reconvene for the season. That's what matters, isn't it? We want to get our business done early. We're clearly looking to do that, which is great. But if it isn't done by that Tuesday at 7 p.m, it ain't disaster. And if you think of a recent example, look at Frimpong. You know, we've done a few days before, and then it's announced, isn't it, as it lines up with the others. So we'll see what develops with these. But the big hope is, and this sounds insane to say it from Liverpool's point of view, you hope by the close of window 1, Liverpool have spent the best part, about 200 million quid. Liverpool, us, their laptop, the frugal, the 10 million net spenders on Chiesa by window 1 have spent 200 million. That's the hope, because Frimpong, about 30. The man on the screen, Wirtz, about 120, you expect as well. And Milos Kirkez, up to, obviously it's clear Liverpool are trying to negotiate that, 45 million seems to be the fee. I mean, what a start that would be for window 1, wouldn't it? You would just let Hughes and Edwards just burst in like books and all, just whatever they want to do. You would be so happy. That's the hope for window 1. Could go into window 2, but that's the hope. So then you come to, as it says on the screen there, what are the transfer window 2 aims? And to me, clear out time. Balance the books. Yeah, as Malcolm just corrected me there, it's about that. We got 10 million for the rat, didn't we? So yeah, I had forgot about that completely. Just blanked him out my mind. But clear out time comes there as well, doesn't it? You've got to balance the books. This is still FSG, and if we want to go again for a few more, it has to happen. Now, I don't know if anyone's seen tonight, but stories from Holland that Vítězslav Jaros is a target for Johnny Heitinga, maybe joining his mate at Ajax. Suggestions of a loan with an obligation or a permanent move. The fact we've just signed Pesci, there's Marmadashvili, Alice, it would make sense, isn't he? Because Jaros, he's good enough. We saw that last season to start. So that's the first bit of, and I don't want to say clear out because it's right for Jaros rather than a cast off or anything like that. But others have got big question marks over them. I don't think anyone's confident if, and we expect, Milos Kirkez to arrive. Kostas Tsimikas, unused sub for Greece now. And part of the reason, if you look at the Greek reports, he's not playing regularly for us as a part of that. As a few were saying in the chat, yeah, of course, we want another centre-back. Zero doubts about that at all. But you've got question marks around Ural Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez for obvious reasons. That's before we get into Canate, which we've had that discussion before, so we'll keep it separate for this one. So they could be involved in the clear-out, quote-unquote. Midfield, Endo wants to stay. He's made that clear. But he's not going to get football, is he? So we have to make that call. This sounds horrible, but it's right for everyone for Harvey Elliott to move on. I mean, it's quite telling that we've all had this debate. If Wirtz come in, is he going to play off the left, almost like Coutinho, cut in and let Kirkez bomb on? Is he going to play a false 9 and be used in that way? Is all the patch journal seem to be reported? Does anyone clock that? He's going to be used as a 10. Which, if it's true, if it was like a slight death knell last season for Harvey Elliott, the fact, if he comes in and plays there, Wirtz, seal the coffin on Harvey Elliott's Liverpool career. It just makes sense for him to go. And I know there'll be Elliott fanboys, and he's got loads of talents and skills. I'm not debating that for one single second. However, as part of a clear out for me, just makes all the sense in the world. So you can start to balance the books quickly. Tyler Morton, who talked this weekend, didn't he, about how tough this season's been. That's another one for a few quid there. We just talked about Lucho, didn't we? So there's that. Just talked about Núñez as well. There's that in the mix. Christ. So the Fede report. Can we just keep the song and sell the player? That's what you wonder. But as Romano and a few others tweeted, it makes sense in the world. He's not playing. There's a World Cup next summer. He wants to get in that Italy team. And did anyone see that Spalletti's left as well? So he'll be looking to impress whoever the new manager's going to be. So Kirkez is off. Only issue is, as we reported a number of times, it does feel like it will be probably a loan, possible wages supplemented in that way. And then, I mean, you can't sell all the players, because I'm not saying that every single one of these is going to go. You can't sign 12 and get rid of 12. That's not how it works. I don't think that's how it's going to be. I think some will stay for necessity. They'll have to stay, but yeah, someone like Jota. Just wonder about Diogo Jota. Who's watching him at the moment at the end of the season and thinks, do you know what? I'll be a good player to pay like 45, 50 million for and give big wages to. I could be wrong. There's a long summer ahead and transfer window too, but I think Liverpool are going to struggle to shift Diogo Jota this summer. Could be wrong on that. Hope I'm wrong on that at the same time. But, I mean, just look at all the players I've whittled through there. If as we plan to, is Frimpong, Kirkez and Wirtz. Transfer window 1 finishes brilliantly. Absolutely superb. But make no bones about it at all. Transfer window 2 is about getting cash in and getting in fast if we're going to do the other things. And we've all got other things we want to do. We all want another centre-back, don't we? Because we've got that concern around Canate. Of course we do. But you probably have to sell one or a couple to make that happen, aren't you? But we'd all sell a kidney for like an Adam Wharton and things like that. But maybe is that debt now? You're a bit unsure. We'd all love another attacker. You'll all have your picks, be it a Rodrigo, a Julian Alvarez, the dream one there. I get it. But to get another attacker, some got to go out. So transfer window 2 is all about who you can ship out, first of all. Honestly, it will be like the DFS sale. It will need all of Michael Edwards' brilliance once transfer window 2 opens. And yeah, there's various comments, people saying Frimpong could cover right wing. Very good point made by a few. Rio Angola, we've mentioned him on the transfer show a number of times that we've said it. Our info is it'll be 5 senior forwards and Rio, the basis of they don't want to block his pathway into the first team. They think he is a really talented kid. So whichever way you dress it up, transfer window 1 looks like it's going to be brilliant for us, doesn't it? Touch wood, I'm saying it. If everything comes to fruition and Wirtz, Kirkez and Frimpong come through the door. However, that will mean, as the screen says, what are the aims for transfer window 2? Sell fast, sell hard, so you can be, quote-unquote, opportunistic. You can get the targets you want. It is exciting. There is a lot to happen. I mean, we didn't even really touch upon it, as I said, but there's still question marks around contracts for some there as well, isn't there? We'll have to see how all this unfolds, ladies and gents. So what are the big calls then? Not confident with that Saudi bag? Have to be honest on that, ladies and gents. Do we see them rocking back up for Darwin Núñez? I'd like to think so. I ain't sure just now. The rival spending. Maybe famous last words that'll come back to haunt me, but right now as it stands, I ain't looking at anything and thinking, bugger me, got to keep an eye on them next summer. Long way for this summer, and time will tell. And finally, transfer window 1, hopefully, before Tuesday, which we'll talk about, finishes very well. If it does, and it is the best part of 200 million spent, then the Michael Edwards fire sale will gather astonishing pace, you would think. 6 days after that, to gear up, and we go again in Stevie G's last words. But there we go, ladies and gents. Plenty to ponder, plenty to keep your eye on. Even this coming week with Anfield Index, we're going to take you all the way through. We'll have transfer shows, we'll have various reviews, we'll have media matters, all the things coming up to the close of transfer window 1, all the latest Liverpool news. Touch wood, we end up with a few new boys. And the best part of 200 million of John Henry's finest sparkled out. We will see the way. We're on Sunday, the 8th of June, in the evening. That was another big decisions at Anfield Index.